All right, pancake lovers, get ready, because we're going deep today. Deep diving. You know how we do it into the world of pancakes. But not just any pancakes. We're talking light and fluffy like clouds.
The kind of pancakes that make you do a little happy dance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're taking cues from Marie over at Marie's Kitchen on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. She's got some great stuff.
And what I really appreciate about her approach is she's not just about, throwing a recipe at you.
Right.
It's like she really breaks down the why behind every step.
Yeah, she gets into the science of it.
The science, the little tricks,
Oh,
and
yeah.
honestly, it just makes the whole process so much more fun.
Way more engaging, for sure.
So we're not just going to be, robots in the kitchen.
No mindless mixing here.
No to me pancake masters by the time we're done with this deep dive. So let's get into it. All right. Marie kicks things off by talking about what she calls the crucial trio
Oh, I like that.
for achieving that airy, fluffy texture. And the first element, honestly, I was a little surprised by.
Oh, really? What is it?
It's all about the leavening agents.
Uh-huh. So it's not just about the flour.
It's not just about the flour. She really emphasizes that getting those leavening agents right is like step number one.
And she's not talking about just chucking in any old baking powder and baking soda.
No, she gets specific
Uh-huh.
and explains why we need both baking powder and baking soda.
Yeah.
And she breaks down, baking powder, a lot of people don't realize that it's double acting.
Yeah, that always trips me out.
Right. So it gets activated first by liquid and then boom, a second time by heat.
It's like a double whammy of fluffiness.
Exactly. It's a 1-2 punch for the fluffiest pancakes ever.
Love it.
Okay, but here's where things get really interesting. Marie drops this knowledge bomb on us about baking soda needs an acidic friend to really get going.
It needs a little buddy.
Yeah, it can't do it alone.
Yeah.
So in her recipe, she uses buttermilk.
Oh, buttermilk. Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. And it kind of takes me back to elementary school.
What do you mean?
Like those baking soda volcano science experiments.
Yeah.
That's essentially what's happening in our pancake batter.
It's the acid in the buttermilk reacting with the baking soda.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Creating all those beautiful airy bubbles.
So cool. And for those who don't have buttermilk just hanging out in their fridge, Marie's got us covered.
Oh, she always does.
She gives us some awesome DIY options like regular milk with a splash of lemon juice or vinegar.
It's so simple, but it works.
It's the little things that make a difference.
Okay, so we've got our leavening agents, all bubbly and happy. But now let's talk about the actual mixing of the batter.
All right, mixing time.
So I don't know about you, but I've always been told to whisk, whisk, whisk until it's completely smooth.
Yeah, smooth batter, smooth pancakes, right?
Right. But Marie's dad, he drops some wisdom that honestly blew my mind.
Oh, what did he say?
He's all, a few lumps are okay. Lumps are okay. What?
Wait a minute, lumps are good?
That's what I thought, right? Like my whole world was turned upside down.
So what's the deal with the lumps?
Apparently those lumps, they're actually pockets of flour that are still hydrating.
Okay.
And that actually contributes to the fluffiness of the pancake.
So it's not about beating the batter into submission.
It's not about that perfect smooth batter. It's more about letting things happen naturally.
So those lumps, they're like little secret agents of fluffiness.
Exactly. They're working their magic behind the scenes.
I'm never going to look at lumps the same way again.
Me neither. All right, so we've got our slightly lumpy, soon-to-be glorious batter.
Can't wait.
Let's talk preheating.
Yes, preheating is key.
And Marie mentions this trick that her dad taught her for testing if the pan's hot enough.
Oh, I love a good kitchen trick.
Right, it's called the dancing water test.
Dancing water.
That sounds fun.
It is. So you just sprinkle a few drops of water on that hot pan.
Okay.
And if they dance around and evaporate quickly, you're good to go.
Like a little pre-pancake show.
Exactly. And then, whether you use butter or oil, that also plays a role in how your pancakes turn out. So butter versus oil, what's the difference?
Well, if you go for lots of butter, you get that beautiful, lacy, kind of crispy top.
Oh, yeah, like the edges get all frizzled.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But if you use just a thin, even layer of oil, you get a smoother golden brown surface.
So it's about personal preference.
It really is. And something that really resonated with me that Marie talks about is this idea of the perfect circle myth.
Oh, interesting.
We see all these pictures online of perfectly round pancakes.
Like they came out of a pancake mold.
Yeah, and they look so good. But Marie, she's all about prioritizing flavor over appearance.
She's got her priorities straight.
And she'd rather have a thick, fluffy pancake with a bit of character
A little personality.
than a thin, perfectly round one that lacks substance.
It's like she's saying embrace the imperfections.
Embrace the rustic homemade charm.
It's about the taste.
Exactly. So what's standing out to you so far as we're going down this pancake rabbit hole?
I'm already questioning everything I thought I knew about making pancakes.
Seriously?
Like lumps being good. That's a game changer.
It's a whole new world.
But I'm really curious to see how she puts all this knowledge into practice.
Me too. I want to see the recipe. I want to see the techniques.
Let's get cooking.
Let's do it. Okay, so let's get our hands dirty. Let's dive into Marie's actual pancake recipe.
All right, let's see what she's got.
And what I really appreciate about her recipe is that she doesn't just like list the ingredients.
Right.
She explains why they're there.
Yeah, the why is important.
Like she's giving us a little mini lesson on, pancake chemistry.
A little science behind the fluffiness.
I love it. So, okay, first things first, flour.
The foundation of our pancakes.
Exactly. And she even gets into detail about how to measure the flour properly.
Because we all know that too much flour equals dense pancakes.
Brick City.
Nobody wants that.
Nope. So she uses the spoon and level method.
Okay, what's that?
So instead of like scooping the measuring cup directly into the bag of flour,
Right.
you use a spoon to scoop the flour into the cup.
Okay, so you're not packing it in.
Exactly. And then you level it off with like the back of a knife or something.
So we're getting the perfect amount of flour.
Every time. All right, so we've got our perfectly measured flour. What's next?
Let's see, she adds baking powder. Of course, we talked about that. Baking soda, salt, and a little bit of sugar.
Usual suspects.
Yeah, but what's interesting is that she really emphasizes the ratios of these ingredients.
Oh, that's smart.
Like, too much baking powder can actually create a metallic taste.
Oh, yuck.
Yeah. So it's all about balance.
It's a delicate dance.
It really is. So we've got our dry ingredients all mixed up. Now it's time for the wet ingredients.
The fun part.
And Marie, she pays attention to every detail, starting with the eggs.
Okay, eggs. What's the deal?
Room temperature.
Room temperature, of course. Why is that important?
Well, room temperature eggs, they blend more easily.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, so you get a smoother batter.
Less lumpy.
Well, we like some lumps, remember?
Oh, yeah, the good lumps.
So room temperature is key. It reminds me of my grandma. She used to always leave her eggs and buttermilk out on the counter overnight.
Really? I thought that was just like an old wives' tale.
Right. It's like those old school practices. They actually have a scientific basis.
Yeah, it makes sense now.
So room temperature ingredients, they blend better, create a smoother batter.
All right, back to the recipe. So we've got our room temperature eggs.
She adds the buttermilk, which we know is crucial for activating the baking soda.
The dynamic duo.
And again, if you don't have buttermilk, she's got you covered with the milk and lemon juice or vinegar trick.
She's the best.
And then for a little extra flavor, she adds a teaspoon of vanilla extract.
Ooh, vanilla. I love that.
It's those little touches that elevate the flavor.
Okay, so now comes the part that I always get a little nervous about.
But
Combining the wet and dry ingredients.
oh yeah, the moment of truth.
I'm always so afraid of overmixing.
But remember Marie's dad's wise words?
Lumps are friends.
Exactly. We're not aiming for a perfectly smooth batter.
A little texture is good.
It's all about embracing those little pockets of flour that are still hydrating.
So we're just gently folding the wet ingredients into the dry.
Just until combined.
No vigorous whisking allowed.
No beating the batter into submission.
And now for the grand finale, the moment we've all been waiting for.
Drum roll, please.
Cooking the pancakes.
Let's do it.
Marie recommends using a griddle, a cast iron pan, or a non-stick pan, whatever you prefer.
Options are good.
She heats the pan over medium heat and then, uses the dancing water test to make sure it's hot enough.
So we're not sticking.
And don't forget the cooking fat. She uses butter or oil.
Butter for that lacy, crispy top, oil for a smoother golden brown surface.
All right, so pan is hot, batter is ready. Let's make some pancakes.
What are we waiting for?
Marie recommends using a large cookie scoop or a 1/3 cup measuring cup for consistent portion sizes.
Portion control is key.
Especially when you're dealing with delicious fluffy pancakes.
It's easy to get carried away.
Oh, yeah. And here's a tip. She spreads the batter out slightly to create a thicker pancake.
A thicker pancake. Interesting.
I know, right? I would have thought spreading it out would make it thinner.
Me too. But she wants us to have pancakes with substance.
Pancakes that can stand up to all that maple syrup.
I like the way she thinks.
Okay, so as the pancake cooks, we're looking for those bubbles to appear and pop on the uncooked surface.
Sign that it's time to flip.
And when we flip, we should have a beautiful golden brown bottom.
Like a little pancake tan.
Exactly. And then we cook it for another minute or two on the second side until it's cooked through.
And then the moment of truth.
We get to eat.
Finally.
Marie keeps it classic with a pat of butter and a drizzle of maple syrup.
You can't go wrong with that.
So simple, but so good. So what's resonating with you the most about Marie's recipe and technique so far?
I'm really struck by her emphasis on understanding the why behind each step.
The science of pancakes.
It's not just about following a recipe, it's about becoming a more knowledgeable and confident cook.
I love that. You know, it's amazing how much we've learned about pancakes just from this one deep
I
dive.
know, right? It's like a whole world of pancake knowledge has been unlocked.
And you know what I'm realizing? It's not just about pancakes.
What do you mean?
I think a lot of these principles, these techniques that Marie shared,
Yeah.
they can be applied to other baked goods too.
Oh, you're totally right. Like the importance of leavening agents.
Yeah,
That's not just a pancake thing.
right. And not overmixing.
Yeah.
That's huge for so many recipes.
Absolutely. And using room temperature ingredients, that's like baking 101.
So it's like Marie's given us this foundation, this understanding of baking that goes way beyond pancakes.
Yeah, it's like she's given us the keys to the baking kingdom.
I love that analogy. So let's take muffins, for example.
Okay, muffins.
They're pretty similar to pancakes in a lot of ways.
Yeah, they both rely on leavening agents for that fluffy texture.
And I bet overmixing muffin batter would be just as disastrous as overmixing pancake batter.
Oh, for sure. You'd end up with tough, dense muffins.
No thanks.
And those lumps that we've learned to embrace.
The good lumps.
I think they'd be welcome in muffin batter, too.
So we're not just looking for a perfectly smooth batter.
No, we want those little pockets of flour still hydrating.
Creating airiness
And of course, room temperature ingredients are just as important for muffins as they are for pancakes.
for that smooth, well-emulsified batter.
It all comes back to those basic principles.
It's like Marie has given us this secret decoder ring for baking.
I love that. And it's so empowering.
Right. It's not just about following recipes blindly.
It's about understanding the why.
Exactly. And that's what makes this deep dive so valuable.
It's not just about pancakes, it's about becoming a better baker overall.
And you know, it all comes back to Marie's dad's advice about the lumps.
Those glorious lumps.
It's such a great metaphor, not just for baking, but for life.
so
Sometimes those imperfections, those unexpected things that happen,
they actually make things more interesting.
they give them character.
Like those lumps in the batter, they make the pancakes fluffy and delicious.
And sometimes the things that we see as imperfections in our own lives,
They might actually be our strengths.
they make us who we are.
That's a beautiful thought.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into pancake perfection,
I'm feeling so inspired to get in the kitchen and bake.
me too. And I hope you are too, dear listener.
Go forth and make amazing pancakes and muffins and whatever else your heart desires.
And don't forget to check out Marie's full pancake recipe on her website.
And let us know how your pancake adventures turn out.
We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, happy baking.